Hello, welcome to OJ Studios. Please enjoy Christmas by Olivia and Lacey Julius.
I sat in my car, trying to breathe, trying to steady the flutter in my chest as reality settled in. I was really doing this. I glanced down at myself, at the dress, the leggings, the boots I'd put on so carefully. My hair was curled, thanks to my sister's steady hands, and the makeup I'd managed on my own actually looked decent. Good enough to make me feel like me. I closed my eyes and inhaled slowly, reminding myself that this wasn't the first time I'd met Lexi's parents. Far from it. Her mom used to babysit my little sister and me back before either of us were old enough to stay home alone. That's how Lexi and I first became inseparable, two kids forced into sharing toys who eventually chose to share everything else. As we grew up, we just kept getting closer and closer until, sophomore year, nobody was even surprised when we finally admitted what everyone already knew: we were in love. And now, here I was, sitting outside her house on Christmas, trying to gather the courage to walk in as myself. A soft puff of breath fogged the inside of the windshield, and I traced a little crescent in the mist with my thumb, something to ground myself. A month. It had only been a month since I finally said the words out loud. I am transgender. I'm a girl. I still remembered the way my voice shook, how small I felt, how terrified I was that everything would shatter after I said it. But it didn't. My parents didn't yell, or look disappointed, or pretend they didn't hear me. My mom actually cried, this soft, relieved kind of cry, and my dad hugged me tighter than he ever had. And Lexi. God, Lexi just smiled, like she'd been waiting for me to catch up to something she'd always known. She told me she loved me, that nothing was changing except me, finally getting to breathe. She said her parents accepted me too, that they were excited to see me as Sarah. But knowing something and believing it were two very different things. My heart thudded in my ears as I looked down at my dress again, smoothing the skirt with trembling fingers. This was the first time I'd worn one outside the safety of my house. The first time stepping into the world as the girl I'd always felt like on the inside. And even though Lexi's family had known me practically my whole life, even though I'd eaten dinner at their table 100 times, it felt completely different now. Because now they wouldn't be seeing who I used to pretend to be. They'd be seeing me, a real, actual girl standing in front of them, nervous, fidgeting, terrified, but still me. I swallowed hard, staring at the glow of the porch lights through the windshield. What if they looked at me differently? What if they were polite, but not really accepting? What if tonight felt awkward, or uncomfortable, or like I didn't fully belong? Lexi had promised they'd be fine. She always sounded so sure. But that didn't stop the worry curling in my stomach. Meeting people had never scared me before. Meeting them like this, in a dress, with curled hair, with makeup I'd triple-checked, felt like stepping onto a stage with no script. I tightened my hands around the steering wheel and whispered to myself, "Just breathe, Sarah. Just breathe." A sudden knock on the window made me jump. I turned, already knowing who it was. Lexi stood outside in the cold, her green dress catching the soft glow of the porch lights. She wasn't smiling, not yet. She just looked at me with that quiet, steady concern that only she ever got right. I fumbled for the lock, and the door clicked open. She slid into the passenger seat, pulling it shut behind her. For a moment, neither of us said anything. The car filled with silence. Soft, warm, familiar. Lexi didn't reach for me right away. She just sat there, hands in her lap, breathing in the same slow rhythm I was trying to find. Her presence alone made the panic ease a little, like she was grounding me without even touching me. "You've been out here a while," she finally murmured, her voice gentle. I stared at my hands. "Yeah, I just needed a minute." She nodded, like she understood completely. Of course she did. She always did. The heater hummed softly, warming our legs. Outside, faint music drifted from her house. Her mom's Christmas playlist, probably, but in here, the world was still. Lexi turned slightly toward me, curling one leg under herself. "You don't have to rush," she said quietly. We can sit here as long as you need. I swallowed, my throat tight. I wasn't sure what scared me more, the thought of going inside, or the thought of disappointing her by not going in. I know your parents are okay with me, I said softly. I've only ever been dressed like this at home. And it's different with your family. Even though I've known them forever, it just feels different now. Lexi didn't interrupt. She let me talk, let me say it the way I needed to. I keep thinking they'll look at me and see someone unfamiliar, I whispered. Or that I'll do something wrong. Or that I'll come off as, I don't know, not enough. Her features softened. She didn't try to fix it, didn't rush to say everything was fine. She just listened, and that helped more than anything else could have. After another quiet moment, she finally reached over, her fingers brushing mine before gently lacing together. Sarah, she said, her voice barely above a whisper, my parents already love you. Not the old you. You. The person you've always been. The one sitting right in front of me. Her thumb stroked the back of my hand, slow and reassuring. And you don't need to be perfect. You just have to be you. That's more than enough. I felt my eyes sting, and I blinked quickly, trying not to cry off the mascara I'd worked so hard on. In the quiet warmth of the car, with her hand in mine, the fear didn't disappear, but it didn't feel so big anymore. Lexi let out a tiny laugh, soft, affectionate, the kind that made her shoulders shake just a little. Sarah, she said, squeezing my hand, do you honestly think my parents didn't see the warning signs growing up? I blinked at her, confused. Warning signs? What are you talking about? She gave me this look, half teasing, half are you serious right now? And tilted her head. Okay, for starters, you tried on my pink princess dress, wore my white tights, and those horrible plastic play heels, and you strutted around the living room like you were auditioning for a Disney movie. My face went hot. Okay, but that was just kids playing. And, she continued, ignoring my sputtering, when we played dress up, you never picked a boy character. Not once. Not a pirate, not a knight, not even a superhero. You were always the princess, the fairy queen, or that weird sparkly mermaid with the purple wig. I buried my face in my hands. Lexi, you didn't even have any boy costumes. She snorted. Yeah, because we didn't need them. You were already thrilled being one of the girls. I peeked at her through my fingers. I was not thrilled. You absolutely were, she said, grinning. And my mom, she still tells the story about how you asked if you could borrow the princess dress to take home, just in case. I groaned so loudly the car seat shook. Oh my God! Lexi laughed again, softer this time, and touched my wrist. Sarah, you were always you, even before you had the words for it. I lowered my hands, looking at her, really looking at her. She wasn't teasing to embarrass me. She was trying to show me something I'd spent years trying not to see. That's why they're not going to be weird tonight, she said gently. They've seen this girl before. They've known her for years. They just didn't know her name. Her hand slid back into mine, warm and steady. And now they do. My breath caught. The car suddenly felt too small for how big everything inside me felt. Lexi's smile softened, the playful teasing fading into something warmer. Sarah, she said quietly, you have nothing to be afraid of. Seriously. My parents have been asking about you nonstop ever since you came out. They've been excited to see you. I twisted a strand of my curled hair between my fingers, staring down at my lap. Yeah, but excited to see me and excited to see Sarah are two different things. Lexi tilted her head, studying me. They want to see Sarah. They want to see you happy. I swallowed, my voice small. Are you sure I pass? The word slipped out before I could stop it, raw, fragile. The kind of word that carried fear no foundation could fully hold up. Lexi didn't laugh, didn't brush it off. Instead, she leaned closer, her forehead nearly touching mine. Of course you do, she said firmly, without even a hint of hesitation. You're beautiful, and you look like you. That's what passing is. Sarah, being the version of yourself that feels right. I blinked, my eyes stinging again. But even if you didn't, she continued softly, trust me, my parents wouldn't care. Not even a little. They've loved you since we were kids. You really think a dress or some makeup is going to change that? I let out the smallest breath, shaky but real. Her words didn't erase the fear entirely, but they cracked it open enough for something gentler to seep in. "You really think I'm ready?" I whispered. For the first time tonight, I felt a tiny spark, a flicker of courage warming its way through my chest. With Lexi beside me, maybe stepping out of the car wouldn't feel so impossible. I drew in one more breath, steady, shaky enough, and finally pushed open the car door. The cold air rushed in immediately, nipping at my face, making my curls flutter. I stepped out slowly, like the ground itself might shift under me if I moved too fast. The gravel crunched under my boots. Lexi followed a moment later, closing her door with a soft thump. We met at the front of the car, the street lights casting long shadows across the snowy yard. When her fingers found mine, they fit there like they always had. Warm, sure, anchoring. Together, we faced the house. It looked like something out of a Christmas card. Soft white lights tracing the roofline, wreaths in every window, garland wrapped around the porch railings, all glowing in layers of warm color. I remembered it from years past, but tonight it felt different. Brighter, more intimidating, more beautiful, all at once. I hesitated, my heartbeat stuttering as I took it in. Lexi nudged my shoulder. "Let's not pause out here too long," she whispered. "I'm wearing a dress, and unlike someone, I don't have leggings on." I blinked, then looked over at her. Her green dress shimmered under the porch light, a long-sleeve forest green knit that hugged her shape perfectly. Her legs were bare, pink from the cold, and she stood in delicate silver heels that clicked softly against the concrete. I couldn't help it. I laughed, quiet, soft but real. Okay, I said, fair point. She raised an eyebrow. "You're all cozy. I'm out here freezing." I looked down at my own outfit, suddenly aware of how much care had gone into every part of it. "My sister helped pick it out," I admitted, a shy smile tugging at me. "The dress, I mean. The long-sleeve red one. She said it was dusty red, whatever that means, and she insisted on the belt and the leggings." Lexi gave me a once-over, slow and approving. "Well, tell your sister she did amazing. You look gorgeous." I felt my cheeks warm despite the cold. The red dress really was beautiful. Soft, muted red, long-sleeved with a black belt cinched around my waist, the hem brushing mid-thigh. The black leggings kept the winter air from stealing too much warmth, and my brown boots grounded me in a way that made every step feel solid. "Thanks," I murmured. We stood there for a moment, me in my dusty red dress, Lexi glowing in green, holding hands in front of the home where so much of our childhood had taken place, and where, for the first time, I would walk in Sarah. Lexi gave my hand a gentle squeeze. "Ready?" she asked. I swallowed. I think so." Hand in hand, we started up the steps. The wooden porch creaked softly beneath us, just like it always had when we were kids running across it to chase fireflies or beg for hot chocolate. Now each step felt slower, deliberate, almost ceremonial. By the time we reached the top, the soft glow of the porch light washed over us, turning Lexi's green dress a deep emerald and giving her hair a halo of gold. I stopped there, right before the door, my breath catching again, but this time for a different reason. Lexi turned toward me, her expression gentle and bright. She lifted her free hand and brushed a strand of hair from my cheek. "You're doing amazing," she whispered. Something inside me loosened. The nerves were still there, but they weren't winning anymore. Before I could think too hard, before doubt could creep back in, she leaned in just a little, not demanding, not rushing, just offering the kind of closeness that had carried me through every hard moment these past few months. I met her halfway. Our lips touched softly, warm in the cold night air. It wasn't a long kiss, just a slow, reassuring one. A promise whispered between us that I wasn't alone, that I was loved, that tonight didn't have to be something I survived, it could be something beautiful. When we pulled apart, Lexi's forehead rested lightly against mine. "You've got this," she murmured. I felt a tiny smile pull at my lips. "Only because you're here." She squeezed my hand again, gentle and sure. Then, still holding on to me, she turned and reached for the front door. Lexi gave my hand one last squeeze before she turned the knob. The door opened with a soft click, letting out a wave of warm air that smelled like cinnamon, pine, and her mom's famous sugar cookies. Inside, the entryway glowed with soft Christmas lights. The tree twinkled in the background, and holiday music played faintly from the living room. It felt safe, familiar, home. Lexi, is that you? Her mom called from somewhere deeper in the house. A moment later, Lexi's parents appeared, first her mom, wiping her hands on a festive red and white apron, then her dad right behind her, holding a tangled string of lights like he'd just lost a fight with them. Both of them stopped in the doorway. Their eyes landed on me. For a heartbeat, everything went very still. I froze, gripping Lexi's hand tight enough that she rubbed her thumb over my knuckles in reassurance. My heart hammered in my ears. All the old fear of being stared at, judged, misunderstood, rose up like a wave threatening to crash. But then her mom's face softened. "Oh, sweetheart," she breathed, her eyes warming, her smile blooming in that soft, motherly way I remembered from childhood. "You look beautiful." My breath caught. I wasn't sure I'd heard her right. Her dad stepped forward next, his expression gentle, open. "Sarah," he said, using my name without hesitation, "it's real good to see you." Not Cody. Not him. Sarah. Something in my chest broke loose, and I had to blink fast before my vision blurred. Her mom wiped a little tear from the corner of her own eye. "We've missed you. Come in, come in. Don't stand out there freezing." She held the door wider, her smile turning playful. "And goodness, Lexi, could you let the poor girl breathe? You're squeezing her hand like you're afraid she'll float away." Lexi huffed, but she nudged me forward gently. She needed it. Her dad chuckled. "Well, you're here now, and you're always welcome." I stepped inside slowly, the warmth wrapping around me like a blanket. I still felt nervous, but the fear wasn't sharp anymore. It was quieter, gentler, fading into something almost like relief. Lexi leaned close and whispered, "Told you." And this time, I actually believed her. Dinner smelled amazing: rosemary chicken, mashed potatoes, green beans with almonds, and warm rolls that fogged the air with butter the moment the basket hit the table. It felt like every Christmas dinner I'd ever had here, except this time I wasn't sitting in jeans and a hoodie. I was sitting in a dress. And because of that, I paused before pulling out my chair, reminding myself of everything my sister had drilled into me. Smooth the dress. Don't bunch it. Lower yourself slowly. Knees together, ankles crossed. Back straight. I did it all automatically now, like muscle memory. And when I sat down, no one stared. No one looked confused. No one treated it like anything unusual. Lexi sat beside me, giving me a small, proud smile as if to say, "See? You fit right in." Her mom passed me the bowl of potatoes. "Here you are, sweetheart." "Thank you," I said, careful to hold the bowl the way my sister taught me, and steady elbows in. It felt oddly feminine, but also natural. Conversation bubbled around the table, just like every other time I'd been here. Her dad talked about the weather turning rough next week. Her mom laughed about her coworker who tried to staple a gingerbread house together after the frosting failed. Lexi debated with her mother about whether Die Hard counted as a Christmas movie. Everything was normal. Shockingly, wonderfully normal. Every once in a while, someone asked me a question that touched on, well, everything. "So, Sarah," her mom said gently, "how do you like wearing dresses?" I froze for a second, fork halfway to my mouth. Everyone looked at me, not in judgment, just curiosity. I swallowed, then shrugged a little. "Honestly, I love it. It feels right. Comfortable. Like I'm finally wearing clothes that match the person in my head." Her dad nodded like that made perfect sense. "Well, you look comfortable. That's what matters." Lexi squeezed my knee under the table. A bit later, her dad chimed in between bites of chicken. "Do you have a favorite kind of dress yet?" I couldn't help smiling. Long sleeves, definitely. And ones that, I don't know, feel soft, feminine, but not too fancy. "That red one is perfect on you," her mom said warmly. "Your sister has good taste." And then the conversation slid right back to Lexi's dad complaining about the Christmas lights that kept burning out. No awkward silence. No stares. No whispering. Just a family talking. Eating. Including me. I glanced around the table, the gentle buzz of conversation wrapping around me like warmth, and for the first time that night, the knot in my chest loosened completely. Maybe this was what being accepted truly felt like. Maybe this was what being seen felt like. Lexi caught me watching her family and leaned in, whispering, "You okay?" I nodded. "Yeah," I said softly. "It just feels normal." She smiled. "Good. That's how it's supposed to feel." After dinner, everyone drifted into the living room, settling into their usual spots as the glow from the Christmas tree filled the room with warm, colorful light. The fireplace crackled softly, and holiday music hummed low in the background, just loud enough to feel festive, but not so loud it drowned out conversation. I sank onto the couch beside Lexi, smoothing my dress under me, just like my sister had taught me. The lights reflected in the ornaments, reds, golds, greens, and for a moment I just breathed it all in. I'd been here 100 times, but tonight felt different. Tonight I felt seen. Lexi nudged me gently and pointed toward the tree. "Look," she whispered. I followed her gaze and froze. There, nestled under the lowest branch, was a gift bag I hadn't noticed earlier. Small, sparkly, with a tag that read, "To Sarah, from the Kendricks." My breath caught. I have a gift." Lexi's mom smiled from her armchair. "Of course you do. Why wouldn't you?" She stood, crossed the room, and carefully picked up the bag. Then she walked over and handed it to me with a soft, warm smile. "Merry early Christmas, sweetheart." My fingers trembled as I took it. Lexi tucked her arm around mine, giving a reassuring squeeze. "Go on," she whispered. "Open it." I peeled back the tissue paper and laughed softly when I saw the first thing inside. A pair of cozy socks in the colors of a transgender flag, baby blue, soft pink, and white stripes. They were cute, warm-looking, exactly the kind of silly comfy thing Lexi always wore around the house. Underneath the socks was a small jewelry box. I lifted it out slowly, my breath catching again as I opened it. Earrings. Simple, delicate studs. Tiny silver stars that glimmered under the Christmas tree lights. "Oh," I whispered, surprised and touched. "They're beautiful, but, my ears aren't even pierced yet." Lexi's mom gave me a playful smile, the kind that made her eyes soften. "Well, that's going to change tomorrow." I blinked. "It is." She nodded with a proud sort of certainty. "Lexi is taking you to the mall. You're getting your ears pierced. And I've given her a little something for you to enjoy afterward." She glanced at Lexi with a knowing grin. "A small shopping spree. Nothing extravagant, but enough to get you a few things that make you feel good." My mouth fell open. "Wait, really? You didn't have to." "Honey," she interrupted softly, "we wanted to. You deserve to feel like yourself, and we want to help however we can." Lexi beamed beside me. "We're gonna have so much fun." I felt my eyes sting again, but this time I didn't fight the feeling. I pressed the socks gently to my chest, then looked at the earrings glowing in the box. "Thank you," I whispered. I don't even know what to say." Her mom reached out and patted my knee. "Just say you'll be here tomorrow morning ready for our girls' outing." I laughed, wiping the corner of my eye. "Yeah, I'll be here." Lexi leaned her head against my shoulder, warm and soft. "Merry Christmas, Sarah," she murmured. And for the first time all night, for the first time in a long time, I felt like I belonged exactly where I was.